Hey, everyone.
Everybody,
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, John, Sal,
Hey, everyone.
the day.
one thing.
Night.
You want me to shut this one off?
Sure.
Okay, I think we're all here. So I'm gonna call the board to order. And so if we could just do a roll call, just state your name, full name. Sal? Sal?
Looks frozen.
Looks frozen.
You look-
Thanks.
Oh, there he
back.
is.
Hey, yeah, sorry.
It's okay. Jerry,
Gary Kramer here.
Carrie,
Carrie Donnell, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New
Happy New
Year.
Year.
Sophie,
Sophie Hansen.
Kevin,
Kevin Sexton here.
Joan,
Joan Wetzel.
and Rick Lopez. Welcome all. Happy New Year. Hopefully you're all warm at this point. It's been an incredible few days here. But I'd rather be here than Los Angeles. In any case.
Yeah.
So to review tonight's agenda, it's a lengthy agenda, but I don't think it's going to take us into the wee hours of the morning. As I look, at it. We're going to public comment if there are any public members who sign in. We'll approve the minutes for November and December. We have a couple waivers. Aday's going to update us on a rodent mitigation contract that was signed. We have two regulation updates that we actually reviewed at our last meeting. And we're going to kind of re-review them and hopefully vote on them. The conflict of interest update is something that we're going to defer to next month. This is something that I thought, based on our meeting last month, that we ought to have a little bit of a process and education as to how to address this in the future going forward. So next month we'll have town council come and talk to us and outline a process. So we'll be deferring that to next month. Then we'll do our monthly report and any final comments. Are there any other urgent additions to the agenda from anybody? No. Okay, and I don't see anybody from the public present. So I'm thinking there's no public comment. And in terms of the minutes, interestingly enough, artificial intelligence has come to the Board of Health. So apparently, as I understand it from a day, Zoom has this service where they record what is being said and they synthesize it into a set of minutes, which are then reviewed by the staff. And so it's a little bit more efficient way of doing minutes. And so the minutes from November and December were created and edited that way, just so if you happen to notice a difference in style, that's the reason. Did I get that right, Aday? That's kind of how we're doing it?
Yes, pretty much, but we have staff reviewing it as well, and
Oh, of course.
areas that are not clear, the staff will go back and listen to the minutes and review it, edit it, and then submit it.
Okay. And we're working on retrieving the September minutes, and we'll probably have those next month. So in terms of the November 20th minutes that went out in the pre-board packet, hopefully people have had a chance to review them. Are there any edits or changes to those minutes? Yes, Kevin.
Opening roll call and closing out the meeting. Swap out my name, A and E.
I didn't catch that, Kevin.
Saxton. All right.
Just I've been doing minutes for so long. The first thing I do is scan the minutes before I read them, just to see my name, where it is, where I have to pay attention to. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Okay.
So we can just switch that. Otherwise, it read fine to me.
Okay.
I didn't notice the change.
Yeah, Carrie.
I did a little. I just had one amplification, we'll say. In the section where it's annual dumpsters, the heading is annual dumpsters associated mostly with restaurants. Carrie Janelle stated that blah, 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 and birth control needs to be continual. Could we just say birth control needs to be applied, not distributed continually, right? That was the intervention needs to be shared continually. I've got
Okay.
I see furrowed brows looking at me like, huh, what are you trying to say?
So birth control needs to be distributed continually. Is that?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Reads
Maybe
cleaner.
we should say rat birth control needs to be distributed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
specify, yeah.
Any other edits?
That's it.
That's it. So with those changes, those two changes, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November 20th, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Kevin, second. Roll call, Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and yes, Rick. So those minutes are approved. Okay, and on the December 12th minutes, looks like they got Kevin's name correct.
Yeah.
Any other edits, any changes? Suggestions? No. Okay, make a motion to approve the minutes of December 12th, 2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joan, second. Okay, roll call, Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
And Rick, yes. So those minutes are approved. All right, so we go on to a variance request for 1051 Main Street. And I'll let Aday introduce this topic.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Lopez. So you all are familiar with what's going on at 1051 Main Street. On January 6th, Amelia and I did a reinspection at 1051 Main Street. Some parts of the foundation have been temporarily sealed. Other parts are still exposed to weather elements, but it appears that, you know, work is in progress. Kitchen sink has a minor leak under the cabinet. You know, pipe fittings need to be flushed and secured against the wall. There was a toilet and an AC unit that was removed from the dwelling. It was just like abandoned outside. We need those, you know, to be removed from the premises. The windows are still not weathertight, but to my understanding, multiple contractors have been out there to measure the windows for replacement. The property owner did replace some of the broken window panes, which is a good sign of progress. And then we observed missing floor tiles in the bathrooms that was replaced with wooden board. That's not acceptable. The wooden board needs to be removed and replaced with a non-absorbent, non-corrosive, easily cleanable, you know, tile-like materials. I believe Mr. Barbo is here tonight. I'm not sure if Ms. Cooper is here tonight. I would like to invite Mr. Barbo to speak regarding his variance request to modify compliance time. And then if Mrs. Cooper shows up, we can let her speak after that.
Okay, Mr. Barbo, why don't I give you perhaps 5 minutes to make any comments for your request for a variance and in terms of the time required to correct the deficiencies.
Thank you very much. Yes, I've been working diligently, unfortunately alone, and if you saw the emails that I sent with the request, you can see why. It's been very difficult to get in. I've got quite a bit done. The toilet's been removed. It was picked up in the town rubbish today, which is why it was out back as opposed to in front of the house till the rubbish collection came by. The plywood that is in the bathroom is a trap door to the water to the bathroom itself. It's a cement floor, and that's where the pipes come in. And they're in a unit, so that is made to be has to be made to be able to as an access area. It will be painted with washable paint, and the tiles I have and need to be cut to go in front of the sink, which again was the access was what the issue was, and availability to get in there. As Mary knows, I'm limited in my capabilities physically, but did over Christmas and New Year's work diligently to do as much as I possibly could. I have sent today before the meeting the 2 estimates that I have for the windows. I was hoping to get at least one more bid, but it's there, and they're looking to custom make the windows at either Right Window or through Monahan's. They're looking at a 4 to 5 week timeline on having them made, and then plus the time installation to put them in. And I think that, and it's just been too cold for me to work outside, and my handyman has been very limited because of Mary of access, which has been an ongoing thing. And again, we're working diligently as we can with what she's allowed. And again, that's been documented in the paperwork that I submitted with the request for the variance. So I mean, regardless of all that, we're looking for hopefully that we can finish the outside and the windows and when the winter breaks, which should be around the time that they're ready, I would assume. And we can make progress in with the rest of it if she allows us in and out, which she said she will, but yet to be seen, even as close as yesterday. And I think that's pretty much all. The other thing I was asked, the statute for having the windows in the bathroom and kitchen, do we just, I was asking earlier too, do we go by the building code, or I was told that they have to be replaced with what was there. And I believe the Massachusetts Building Code from my contractor said that they don't have to open and close in the kitchen and the bathroom as long as there's ventilation appropriate or fans and so forth. That was a question one of the questions I had. If there's a statute that says I have to, he was not aware of any of that, and he asked me to check on it. And I think that's pretty much it. The air conditioner that was outside was Mary's, that came out of her window, which she put in. I did dispose of that and absorb the fee for it, as opposed to, leaving it for her or whatever. She placed it outside. I had put it on the floor in the bedroom, because I couldn't carry it, but she moved it outside. The toilet we put outside, and again, we left it in the back of the house so it wouldn't be an eyesore until today's rubbish came, which it's been collected. And I think that's it.
Okay. Regarding your question,
yeah,
as I understand it, there is a dual enforcement going on. We have the health department and then we have the building department. So
yes.
I don't want to rush to give you an answer. I would like to coordinate with the building inspector, have a discussion with him, and then get back to you on that.
Yes, my contractor said the same thing, that he would bring it to the building inspector for the permits for the windows, and make sure that that's, that was just something he asked me to check on, and that he wasn't aware of anything like that, as long as he stays to the building code. That would be great. I'd appreciate that. And an email would be fine. It's not, and obviously we need to know that to get the windows made, that type of thing. That would be a huge help. So as soon as we hear from that, then we'll hopefully go forward with one of the contractors for the windows, and because they won't order them till we sign something. And I think that.
And if I may ask, would you be able to give the board an exact variance request that you're requesting from the board? How much time would you need to get this thing?
I specifically hoping that we could do this in the month of April, just for weather conditions, where the windows and I probably, if we get some good days, we'll probably have the outside all buttoned up and completed, and the inside floor completed, which will pretty much, and the bathroom and so forth. If she allows me access, my handyman access, excuse me, to the property, it would have all been done already. I believe we were only able to get in there 3 or 4 days since you were out the first time, in the very first part. And that was the reason why it's not all done except for the windows. But that's, and I think so, to be completed by sometime in April, if not sooner.
Okay, and this would be for the foundation and the window.
Everything, yeah, complete.
In terms of the plywood on the bathroom floor,
yeah,
if you have to mop that bathroom floor, the plywood is going to absorb all the chemicals.
Yeah, yeah, no,
so is it possible to maybe elevate it a little bit and use
it has to be level because of the washer and dryer are sitting on only part of it. You're seeing about half of the piece of plywood. It's like I said, the bathroom floor is cement. There's just one little square area with that plywood's covering it that have the water pipes in it to be able to access them. So I mean, I can put a piece of linoleum or something on it just to make it a little bit more washable. That something like that. We've had washable paint should more than suffice. That's scrubbable for that you would put on a floor. That type of thing. Again, if it needs to be linoleum or something like that, tile will be too thick
So
to
as
retile
long as
that.
the material you put is non-absorbent, non-corrosive, and easily cleanable, then that'll
Okay.
be fine.
Yeah, that's what we would plan to do. And then, again, I got to get back in there to do it, and my handyman's got to get back in there to do it. So far, she's verbally said that she will allow it. We were in there with the right window people, and he went in to look on the bathroom. I'm in the underneath the kitchen sink to see what needed to be done to fix the leak, which I did look at when I checked it. It wasn't leaking, but he said it is, and he took pictures while we were looking at the other rooms and the windows that to be changed. She came over yesterday and mentioned that he was left alone. And I'm like, oh, I was in the house the whole time. She says, no, you were in the bedroom and the bathroom while he was in the kitchen. I'm like, Mary, I says, and I can't follow him around. I mean, if she wants to be home and follow him, and we can only get in the days she's home 1 or 2 days a week, really, that's fine. But there is no legitimate reason that he could not be in there, should not be in there.
So,
So let me ask board members whether they have any questions, concerns, or suggestions, for Mr. Barbo in terms of his comments and the current status of this. Okay, so not seeing any.
Yeah, I'll go real quick. I was letting other people go. No, I read the report. It seems like everything's moving in the direction that we talked about at the last meeting. We knew it wasn't going to be done all and complete for this meeting because of lead time for supplies, windows that we ordered and such. So, I have no problem with extending or re-granting, I guess is what we're doing for him to get the work done. The one thing I will say though, is just from a chain kind of ownership style, Charlie, the emails, appreciate seeing them, that there's a lot of communication going on between you and Mary, but, depending on what that communication is, but they all, just so you know, the way we read them, they all came from you and went to you. So
Yeah, exactly.
there was no
Yes,
real chain there to identify who actually was, much and we could get from the text.
Yeah, they're text messages that I had to send to my email to print them. It's just, and that's only,
Okay.
and again, I'm not looking for anything other than allowing me time to do this, by the end of April. That's it. I'm not dinging Mary or anything like that, which is, or asking for anything special. I mean, everything will be done to code. I just need the time to be able to do it, and I'll give her another chance. If she doesn't let us in, then I'll come back to you guys and just say we're having trouble. But I mean, that should give me plenty of time if she keeps flip-flopping on me, which she seems to be doing. I don't know if she's serious this time in getting it done. But we will see. I mean, this literally could be done, windows and all, with my handyman and myself, and for a quarter of the price it's costing me to get a contractor. And I've stated that in another email that I sent a little while ago with 2 contracts. But that's, if we can grant me till the end of April, I hope to be done well before then and finished with this. And I can keep you informed of what's done as I go. And take it from there. It's not, none of this is difficult to do. It's just, we're talking $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 to replace just the windows, none of the other work.
Would you be able to fix the water leak?
Yeah, it's just the hose that's attached to the sink.
Correct. Yes. Can that be done like soon?
Next time we're allowed in, absolutely. And I bought a new faucet, which the faucet doesn't need to be changed. It's just the spray hose. But with the condition of it, if Dan is allowed to go in and get under there, I physically can't get under there. It's a simple thing to change. And that's all that is. It's the sprayer hose that's leaking.
So I would, weigh in. I think the end of April is a little overly generous. But I think April is not unreasonable, particularly where you have time constraints around constructing custom windows, working on the foundation, and so forth. I would propose that we give you till April 4th, which is a Friday, have an inspection done early the following week, and come back to the board if things are not complete at our board meeting on April 10th. That will give you 2.5 months,
Okay.
which I think is fairly generous. Actually, Sal, yeah, I see your hand up. To you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the April deadline. I also, when I was reading through the messages from Mary, that we're putting this time restraint on. We have to give Charlie the consideration that he is dealing with. It looked like through the text. I mean, Mary's not here to defend herself. The pictures and the letters that she is being a little difficult. I mean, that's just my opinion because I don't have Mary here to back up her side of the story. But that almost becomes a case of are we putting undue burden on Charlie to get into the house and do the work? And that's not I don't think that's for the board to decide if he can get into the house or not. That almost becomes like in front of a judge type of situation. So I mean, I would, at the end of April, I mean, I think that's fair if Charlie thinks it's fair, if he can get it done. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Joan, you have a comment?
I was thinking that the April board meeting would be a good opportunity to check in. And, maybe the windows are coming in a couple of days and will be completed very shortly. But I think that's a way to, and we could also find out if he's been allowed access. And, I think that would be a good way to keep tabs on the progress.
Yeah.
Maybe not that the work has been completed by that point, but.
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully it all goes well and Charlie can get in the house and, we don't need another meeting. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, we should not. It should be done before April, if the weather breaks. That's the big thing is that she's got electric heat, and I told Mary if we have to do this in 4 weeks, like it's stated, I says there's no way to keep your house warm without your heat bill, your electric bill going sky high. I says and she said that when they came out to do the inspection, she asked them to please push this off until better weather, which would be, April. It still can snow and everything, but at least there should be a few days. And if we get great weather in March, this will be done before the beginning of April. It's certainly what I'm hoping for. I'd be happy if it's gone tomorrow.
And I think at this point, what Mary wants is she's actually I think the horse is out of the barn, so to speak. She's made the complaint. It's resulted in the Board of Health and the Health Department inspecting her home. And, ultimately it's our responsibility to make sure that the habitation in that home is safe, regardless of Mary, frankly. And because she's put forth the complaint. So I would make a motion to extend a variance on the timeframe to address these issues to April 4th with an inspection April 7th or 8th, and then if necessary, ask you to come back to the board on our April 10th meeting if things aren't completed, and we can discuss it further.
That's
Can I have
fine.
a second on that motion?
Second.
I see Sal raise his hand as well. So roll call, Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Rick, yes. So thank you, Mr. Barbo, for coming. It's too bad Mary couldn't be here, but it sounds like you're well on your way to addressing the issues, and we appreciate that.
I thank the board very much.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Good night.
Okay. Next is a variance request on 42 Willow Street. Again, I defer to Aday to take this up.
Thanks, Dr. Lopez. Apparently, Mr. Nguyen is not here. I had a conversation with him earlier. He stated he was going to join the meeting, but he isn't here. Is it okay if I present the variance on his behalf?
Yes. Sure.
Okay, sounds good.
So before you do that, Aday, if we wanted to, Aday, if you thought it was in the best interest to wait, we could all vote to push back that agenda item further in the meeting. I don't know the backstory of it. If you're fine with just going forward with it right now, that's fine too.
It's your call.
Is there a way you can, if we moved on to, well, you're up on the next agenda items as well, so it's going to be hard for you to contact him. We could certainly defer this until he either appears or until we get to our monthly report. If we get to the monthly report and he still hasn't appeared, then we can defer. We can address it then.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Why don't we do that?
At least it gives them a chance.
Yeah.
Check in, yes. Okay. So in terms of the rodent mitigation contract, do you want to update us on that Aday?
Yes, so if you all recall, at the last meeting, I stated that the select board approved the reallocation of the remaining ARPA funds in the amount of $21,359.91 to go toward our rodent mitigation efforts. We sent a request for quotes out to 5 companies, and we got 2 responses back. And I'm pleased to announce that we are now in contract with Modern Pest Control. We will be meeting, sometime next week to discuss deployment details and strategies to execute the rodent program. And I plan on having Modern Pest Control attend the next Board of Health meeting. I sent you all the packet. All the information is in there. They're going to be using the Burrow RX and the Smart Box, but he's in a better position to explain what those are. So I would defer to him at the next Board of Health meeting.
Well, it's very reassuring was that he would not be using poisons, which can affect the environment and other animals and so forth. So that was good to hear.
Absolutely.
And just because we're on the subject, even though it's not on the agenda item, but maybe we can make it as one Aday. Can we get monthly updates on what's going on down in the Pinevale area? That'd be great to just have on the agenda items, just a quick, this is what went on this past month. Just so we're staying on top of it for those folks.
I
Absolutely.
agree, Kevin. Thank you.
Absolutely. But I can tell you nothing, we've not received any complaints since the last last Board of Health meeting. No complaints. Things have been going well over there. No issues.
I don't want to get into it too, I have questions, but I don't want to, I know it's not agendized, so I don't want to get into it too much, but that's why I'd like to have it on every month, just so we could check in.
Absolutely.
I do have a
Joan?
question about that, sorry. And once again, it's not an agenda item, so maybe this needs to be deferred also. But I happened to go by twice this week, and I believe the gate is supposed to be locked at all times. And it wasn't both times.
Hmm.
And so I don't
So-
know what's going on with that. The first
So-
day on Monday, the dumpster was overflowing.
Was
But
that behind Domino's, Joan?
yes,
Yeah, it's funny. I took a couple rides by there and I saw the same thing.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't see any little critters
Yeah, I didn't either.
myself, but
Yep.
you know, I think they're all nice and cozy inside.
Yeah.
But anyway, did I remember that correctly, that it is supposed to be locked?
According to the old regulation, no, but according to the new regulation that the board is about to approve,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Yes. Okay, there's a bicycle cable lock that's wound around one side of the gate and locked, so, unless you do the code and open it up, there's no way to lock it.
But they're not in violation of anything yet because there is not a specific bar against that right now.
Correct.
Okay.
Right after
duly
this
noted.
meeting, if you guys approve the dumpster regulation, then they will be in violation.
Excellent.
So we will,
Right.
we'll add that update to the next couple of meetings
Thank
to
you.
make sure this is resolved.
Good idea, Kevin.
This would be a good.
It's funny because I too have, since I go to the dry cleaners there, which is right next to Domino's. I drive by, I say, well, let me take a look in the back. I'm not going to get into it, but I think we're all inspectors here. kind of.
Yeah, right.
We're not going to take your job, Amelia. Don't worry. But,
You can take it.
all right.
All right, so this will be a good segue into the dumpster
Dumpsters, yes.
regulation. And so at the last meeting, we submitted an updated dumpster regulation and an updated food code to the board for review with a possibility of an approval at a subsequent meeting, which will be tonight's meeting. We are hopeful that the board had the chance to thoroughly review both regulations, and we're hopeful that the board is willing and ready to approve both regulations tonight. I will quickly go over some notable changes to both regulations and then hand it over to Dr. Lopez for a potential vote.
We should
All right.
do these one at a time. We should do 2 votes.
Correct. So in terms of the dumpster regulation, the notable changes include requiring enclosures to be locked at the end of each business day to prevent illegal dumping, posting warning signage to prevent the risk of illegal dumping, requiring unused dumpsters removed from the property within 72 hours after termination of service. With this regulation, we now have the authority to order a dumpster enclosed or screened, order a dumpster's location changed, order a dumpster's size changed, order an increase in pickup frequency, order dumpsters to be removed or replaced, and conduct random inspections and sanitary surveys of dumpsters around town. Most importantly, we have now granted authority to the police, fire, building, and DPW town staff to assist with enforcement efforts when needed. This means that they will be able to issue violation tickets on our behalf if they choose to. We've also included the provision for an appeals process for property owners who are aggrieved by our decisions, such as, issuing a violation ticket. They can come to the board and, talk to the board about it and let the board know why they shouldn't get a ticket, and whatever the board decides to do, will happen. Also, we've included the provision for a variance request if enforcement would compromise or be detrimental to the health, safety, and well-being of our residents. So those are pretty much the notable changes. And I think with this regulation, we would have everything we need for proper enforcement. I will now hand it over to Dr. Lopez for discussion / vote.
Okay, so we went over these in fair detail at our last meeting, and people have had a chance to read it. We did consult, Day did consult with town council that we're not required to have a public hearing for every routine regulation change that we request, and we felt that this and the food code were pretty straightforward updates in our regulations, and not something that was new, so dramatically new and different that it required a public hearing. And so I'll open it up to comments, discussion, suggestions that anyone may have. We can either make some edits to this if we feel compelled to do so, or we can vote it in its entirety. And I see Carrie her hand is just like ready to go. Go ahead, Carrie.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
I just had I have two questions. Well, first I have a thank you to staff for moving quickly on this, and I wish it could be even quicker, because I know the issues at Pinevale have been problematic, but thank you for making this happen. I have two questions. The first one is in terms of the enforcement by other folks in addition to health department, is that covered under the section where it says it can be enforced under bylaw? Sorry, I had it and then I lost it.
It's section 4.5. Is that what you're referring?
4.5. Yes, thank you. Yes, penalties may be enforced by procedures as noted in the Town of Reading General Bylaw, Article 1, Section 1.8. Is that where that authority is? Because it's not specifically called out here. Okay, great. Thank you. Great. And I guess I'll take a minute to say thank you to our other to the other departments in town for their willingness to consider that. My other question is, when we look at sections 4.3.3 and 4.3.8, there's a little internal consistency I'm wondering about. 4.3.8 says the dumpsters will be locked and when not in use. 4.3.8 stipulates that the dumpster be locked at the end of the business day. And I just want to make sure that they're not creating a loophole or a uncertainty about interpretation.
Harry,
sorry,
what are those again?
4.3.3
Okay.
as dumpster lids and enclosure gates are to be closed and locked when dumpsters are not in use. 4.3.8 says all dumpster enclosures must be locked at the end of the business day to prevent illegal dumping. So it allows for a tiny bit of loophole.
I see it a little bit differently. So for example, if you have a business from Monday through Friday, at the end of the business day on Friday, your dumpster needs to be locked, from Friday to Monday. So I think that's what number 4.3.8.
So 3.8 is end of the day. And 3.3 is when not in use.
Yes. So with the 3.8, when the business is done for the day, people actually go over there and illegally dump materials because nobody's watching, and that was why we put that in there.
Right. I just question if there's a way to make it more clear, because I think if I'm confused, I want to make sure nobody else can say, but wait, are we supposed to lock it only when we're not dumping in it? Are we only supposed to lock it when at the end of the day? It's a fine point, but people like to split hairs. And
Yeah,
Okay.
Kevin, you're really
agree,
good at
people-
this. Do you have any suggestions? Sorry.
People like to find, people like to find loopholes. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right, Carrie.
Yeah,
So here's the problem. I'm reading this. We're talking about 4.3.3 and 4.3.8, correct?
Mhm.
So I'm going to read you what I have on my screen for 4.3.
I have a very different reading.
The
Go ahead.
dumpster hauler name, company, logo, telephone number, and unique identification number must be conspicuously displayed on a dumpster. So I have no idea what's going on here.
I think you said 4.3.5, Carrie, maybe. And
No,
4.
4.3.3. Yeah.
Oh, it is?
If I misspoke, then
No,
my,
that one I have correct. That one is what you're saying, but my 4.3.8 is widely
oh,
different.
I think it's
Amelia-
4.3.11 is.
Amelia
Got it.
is trying to talk. Maybe she can clear us up a little.
4.3.11.
Okay, there we go.
wait, wait,
Maybe Amelia. Yeah, maybe she can tell us.
help.
I'm also looking at it off my phone. I just didn't want you guys. So 4.3.3 is that it should be closed when not in use, and then 4.311 is when it should be locked by end of business day. But maybe to prevent that loophole that you're talking about, Carrie, we can add locked when not in use and at end of business day, and then restate locked at
Yeah.
end of business day
Yeah.
and when not in use, and just put the tie them both together and just kind of repeat it twice.
That's perfect.
Great. Thank you.
Brilliant. Brilliant, Amelia.
That's right.
Thanks.
So yeah, that's something we can do. So would this delay the vote?
Nope.
No,
we can
I
vote
think-
on it as amended.
As amended, yeah, with those adjustments.
Technical
for Amelia.
correction, tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't change the body of it. It increases the meaning of it.
So I'd make a motion to approve the dumpster regulation section 04 as amended for our discussion and Amelia's amendment. Is there
Kevin
a
got me.
second? Do I have a
Second.
Kevin
This is
got
an
it.
old one for me,
Kevin was
Carrie.
first. Kevin was first.
This is an old one for me.
Okay.
Goes back, this is a good 5-6 years now.
Oh, yeah. Yep. This is yours, Kev.
Okay. So with that second, we'll vote, Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Rick, yes. So.
If I may, Rick, before we go
Yes.
on, I do just want to thank the staff for this, because this is an old one. This predates, I think, just about everybody in this room from a complaint standpoint. So well done. Really, really good job. This is going to go over as a tiny little blip on the radar. Very, nothing to see here kind of thing, but it is a really big step. For the residents of this town, I think it's a great step for the businesses of this town, although it may be more nuisance to them a little bit. They'll adjust really quickly, and in the end, everyone's going to be better off for it. So I think this is a lot bigger of a deal than it's going to ever get credit for. So good job, everybody.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, so are we ready to proceed?
Yes.
All right, so in terms of the food code, notable changes include the addition of a definition section to explain what the acronyms stand for. Also, the addition of a risk categorization section that basically puts each food establishment in a risk level category. So like risk level 1 is the minimal risk, such as a convenience store selling prepackaged food items. Risk level 2, coffee shops, quick serve operations that serve prepared food items for immediate consumption. So places like Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's. Risk level 3 for establishments with extensive menus that also handle raw foods, such as a full service restaurant, sushi restaurant. And then risk level 4 would be for establishments that serve highly vulnerable populations, such as the nursing home. Let's see, we also added reinspection fees. So if we have to go out for a second reinspection, it comes with a $50 fine. If you have to go out for a third reinspection, it comes with a $100 fine. And if we have to go out with a fourth reinspection, it comes with a $150 fine. We added person in charge requirements, labeling requirements, mobile food truck requirements, frozen dessert bacteriological testing requirements, ensuring that the soft serve machine does not contain bacterial colonies. We also added the ice cream truck requirements, ensuring that the drivers are CORI and SORI checked. We added residential kitchen requirements, grease trap requirements, and pest control requirements. Again, I will now hand it over to Dr. Lopez for a potential vote.
Again, any comments, suggestions, edits, questions? No.
Andrew, yeah.
Okay, hearing none. Make a motion to approve of the changes in the food code, section 9 for the town of Reading. You have a second?
Second,
Very second. Roll call. Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Rick, yes. So the changes are adopted.
And with both of these, Ajay, this, the food and the dumpster, you're gonna get those letters out to the appropriate people
Absolutely,
that have the permits from all? Okay, great.
absolutely.
Great. And I'll say too, Evan, great work on getting our regs updated. Thank you. I know this work is, it's painstaking and a little time consuming. It's important. And I think it's great that now we'll have it in our own language as opposed to saying refer to the state. I think it's just a good point of clarification for all of our folks here in town. So thank you, guys.
And I'd like to extend a special thanks to Amelia, you know, and the rest of the staff for making this happen.
I love that we are now risk-based. I think it's just, it's really excellent. And I think that it'll be excellent for all of the businesses in town. I think that they'll be, you know, they will appreciate that. So.
Definitely.
Thank you very much.
So we had deferred 42 Willow Street because Mr. Wen wasn't here. He's still not here. Let me ask you, Ajay, if we voted on the requested variance, and obviously if it was approved, that's sort of the end of the story. If it was not approved, could Mr. Wen come back at the next meeting and ask for, I don't know, a revote or a reconsideration?
Appeal the process? Possibly.
Yeah. Maybe, so when someone requests a variance, is it absolutely required that he or she be present to advocate for it?
It is, you know, this is one of those exceptions that I don't really like to advocate for people if it's not, you know, going to benefit the health department. But this is one of those exceptions I like to make because it's just straightforward.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if you want to continue with item 10, I can go ahead and give him a call to see if he can jump on the.
Well, we're going to defer item 10 till next month when town council can come and talk to us. So
Before we move on from that, just a brief message. I I'm the one who booted that on Lost Call. I know exactly what the procedure is to do it. I've done it several times, so I apologize. It's a simple form. You go down to the clerk's office and fill out
Right.
before the meeting. I completely forgot about
On the
that.
conflict
But
of interest?
it'd be good to have the council come out and give us the full scope of it anyway.
Okay.
My apologies.
So do you want to proceed with the monthly report and then I can give him a call while we're doing that?
Yeah, why don't you do that? And, you know, Amelia and Liv can do their updates and,
Absolutely.
okay. So should we start, while you're doing that, should we start with Amelia?
Yes, please.
Yes, let me get my screen. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So the current month column is for everything that I've done in the month of December, and then the year-to-date column also incorporates the old health inspectors numbers. So this way it is a total recap of what has occurred in the health department for the entire 2024 year. So renewals still came in December. We are still chasing a couple people down for renewals, but today I attended a small meeting that IT had regarding their communications package that launched on OpenGov. So it makes it a little bit more personal and easier to communicate with people on getting them to renew their permits. So that's something that I'm going to sit down with Haley next week, and we're going to work towards getting people to renew for this 2025 current year. It was a little slow this month with inspections just because I had kind of caught up in the past 2 months that I've been here. And then with the holidays coming in, their time frames were a little off. I had one reinspection that went really well, but for the total year, we only had 9 reinspections for the whole year of 2024, which I think is a really great number, considering that we have over about 100 restaurants and only 9 of them needed a reinspection, so that's really good. We had a couple temporary events in the month of December with the holidays and everything, so that was fun to observe. And these numbers reflect the old inspectors' numbers as well. So I think during her time, there was also a closing or a change of ownership that had occurred. These numbers as well, again, the month totals are things that I have completed, and then the year-to-date totals incorporate the old inspectors' numbers as well. Body art is something I'm working on this month, along with tanning and starting up the pools as well. So I'm really excited. We did all the body art renewals minus one establishment, which I contacted today to get their renewal going. Tanning and skating rinks have been completed as well. We had 2 housing complaints this month, one regarding heat and then 1051 Main Street, which we're aware of. No, excuse me. There was a different one. No, it was the heat one and 1051 Main Street because I incorporated the reinspection into that. I apologize. But in total for the year, it seems that there was only 11 complaints sent in and then 7 inspections that occurred. And then those 2 housing orders are 2 that I had sent for 1051 Main Street and a heat complaint that we had, which was very quickly resolved, which was nice to see. For the year, all pools were inspected. This number hopefully will be much larger next year. We're hoping to do more pool inspections as they're, start to open specifically in the summer and for our year-round pool at the Y. These numbers reflect the old health inspectors, so I apologize. I'm not too sure what they represent. And then same with the solid waste. But these are the numbers for December. I'm hoping that next year these are much greater. And yeah, are there any questions from the board at all?
No?
I love seeing a written report, and I love seeing monthly action and year-to-date action, and thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll continue that forward. So every month, the year-to-date will keep increasing. The month-to-date will just change, obviously based on that month, but the numbers for the year-to-date, I will keep updating as I go.
The reinspection looks like a really good number too, only 9. It's really good.
Yeah, that was great. So I'm
Really good.
hoping that this year that stays the same. So fingers
Oh,
crossed.
yeah, or lower.
Or lower,
lower.
exactly.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, so during the break, I was able to reach out to Mr. Wen, and it appears his wife has joined. So we can continue the monthly report, or we can go back to the variance request. It's totally up to the board.
Why don't, since Mrs. Wen is here, why don't we address that request? Go back and then we'll come back to the monthly report.
Hi,
Okay.
everyone. Sorry, apologies that I'm late.
No, no problem. I'm just going to give a quick intro, and then you can go ahead after that.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So 42 Willow Street, Mrs. Wen is here. This is a variance request to keep more than 6 birds on the property. And the previous owner of the property had a variance in place to keep more than 6 birds.
Mm.
The current property owner, Mr. and Mrs. Wang, took over the home under the impression that the variance approval was transferable. We reached out to the new owners, and they were willing to do whatever is needed to keep their birds. And currently, keeping of animals regulation has a limit of 6 birds, but Mr. and Mrs. Wen are requesting to keep up to 11 birds. The chicken facilities on the properties have been inspected. They have the capacity to keep up to 11 birds, and the animal control officer does not have any reason to deny their proposal to have more than 6 birds. I would personally recommend the board grant this variance request to Mr. and Mrs. Wen, and Mrs. Wen is here if you'd like to make a quick comment about your request.
Yeah, so the facilities were inspected, and we've done all the requirements to allow it to be really well kept and safe for the additional birds. It's quite a large coop and space for the birds. I think that was the main thing, and then also the cleanliness and how we have kept the coop. So yes, we would love to have that granted to us if that would be possible. Thank you.
And Ade, I understand that there was an issue with a rooster earlier in the year with the
That has
neighbor,
been corrected.
but that's been corrected. And so currently there are no neighbor
No
complaints
roosters.
or anything regarding this.
Correct.
Any questions for Mrs. Wen, or comments or suggestions regarding the request?
I just had one. I mean,
Sure.
what is the reasoning behind only having 6 birds? Is there a reasoning why
meeting.
we have? That's it?
Town meeting came up with that number. Yeah.
Okay. So no health, I mean, like disease or no other issues?
No.
Yeah,
It was all
okay.
town meetings.
So it's just a random number?
It's a lot of town meetings in between that one and this one.
Yeah,
Sal, so
yeah.
it's tough to remember the sentiment
Okay,
of the room.
yeah, I'm
but
just
I
wondering.
know there was a
if there's
lot of
any-
debate about the number. That's why it sticks out to me as.
I don't know if there's any drawback of having more than 6 chickens, like, okay.
I think
Gotcha.
the debate at the time, quite frankly, was just to try to keep it reasonable and not to
Yeah.
have an unruly amount for your neighbors. I think that pretty much was the sense of where the number was settled at, by the way.
Yeah.
It was trying to be both higher and lower.
Negotiations
Yeah,
on
pretty
chicken
much.
number? Nice, all right, yeah.
The only question I would have, and this is more out of pure curiosity, is how many times have we granted this kind of waiver? Dave, do you know? Do we know, like, how many households in Reading have 6 or more or 7 or more chickens?
I can get the data for you, but since I've been here, the board has only granted 2.
2. Okay.
This will be the second one.
So this is not unprecedented then for us to do something like this. Okay, that's always my concern is setting precedent. So
Yeah.
this sounds like to me like an easy one.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that the animal inspector inspected, you know, how the chickens were kept and so forth in terms
Yep.
of sanitation and
Yeah.
health and so forth. And that's, for me, that's sort of probably the most important thing rather than just the numbers, although our regulations are up to 6. So this would be a variance.
Yeah,
And
couldn't
if
agree with you more,
we,
Rick. I mean,
if
it's
we conduct
it's
future
like
inspections
to
over
reward
there,
good behavior, quite frankly.
Exactly. Yeah.
if we conduct future inspections and we find out, you know, things are not the way they seem to be, then we'll come back to the board and make a different recommendation to lower the quantity of birds.
Is this done annual? Is it an annual inspection? Is that what you
Inspection.
asked?
Yeah.
Yes, we have annual inspections, correct?
It is.
Oh, okay.
And so once we grant the variance, because it's also it's a yearly, you have to pull the permit for it, correct?
Renew the permit every year, correct?
Right. So it'll renew as the number that the winds have right now that we.
Yes, but we
granted
won't,
this time.
we
Okay.
won't grant the renewal until we conduct an inspection to
Right.
verify the quantity of the birds.
But they don't have to come back to us, obviously, every year.
No.
The variance just go okay.
Now, if they leave the property and there's a new owner, the new owner needs to come to the board
Sure.
and get a variance.
Okay.
Because the variances are not transferable.
Got it.
If there are no other questions, I'd make a motion to approve the variance for 11 birds on property.
A second.
Have a second. Roll call, Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
and Rick, yes. Congratulations, Mrs. Wen. You have your variance.
You have more
Okay.
chicken.
Thanks for doing a great job with them.
Yeah, thank you. And, you know, anybody who wants eggs, you probably,
Nice.
So we will approve it online, and on Monday, you should be able to pick up your permit or print it out online.
okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good
And
evening.
you don't have to stay till the end of the meeting. You don't.
Okay, thank you. That's, okay. Have a good meeting.
Good evening.
Bye.
Liv, I think you're on.
Okay, lovely. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, it is incorrect screen. Here. Okay, is everyone able to see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy increase in respiratory illness time. Love to see it. Hate to see it. We're seeing a large increase influx in respiratory and flu-like illnesses. In Reading specifically, we are categorized as high. We're somewhere right in there in that little orange. The state itself has seen 22 influenza-related deaths in the 2024-2025 season. Suffolk County specifically, 17% of our hospitalizations this in the 2024 year season were related to acute respiratory diseases. So we are seeing a huge increase. Please stay safe out there, wear your masks. On that same note, we had a successful flu clinic on the 6th. We were gearing everyone up for the MLK weekend gatherings. And on that note, we are hosting another vaccine clinic at the Coolidge Middle School next Friday, the 17th, from 3 to 5. And we're going to be having flu, COVID, pneumonia, RSV, shingles, Tdap, Hep B, MenA, and MMR there. So if you still haven't gotten any of those shots, please feel free to come by and we can get that quickly taken care of for you. And then there's a QR code there. This will also be posted. This is posted on our website. So if anybody needs to gain access and wants to sign up, it is through Shaw's and it is next Friday. And all right, moving on to the monthly disease report. Last month, we had 31 cases of COVID and 31 cases of the flu. So definitely an uptick from November. No surprise there. We are in full swing. I already have over 30 cases for this month of both COVID and flu, and it's only the 9th. So it's definitely coming. If you are 65 and plus, we still have available flu shots for you at Town Hall. So please, it's not too late. Contact me. Feel free to reach out. All ages are accepted at the flu clinic next Friday. So anyone younger, feel free to go ahead and go to that one, as well as CBS still has shots. I did a little population tracking on our cases from last month for the flu specifically, and 30% of our flu cases happened to be individuals in their 40s. I thought that was kind of an interesting number, and I kind of was thinking, why would that be? I was thinking it's our workforce population, a large workforce, a large parent population, so it's unable to make clinic dates and times. So with that information, I'm going to take that back for next year and try to hold more accessible clinics for people that are unable to make the times that we had this year. If that's on the weekends and evenings, just something I thought was an interesting number. We are seeing a rise in foodborne illnesses right now. Specifically, we have had a couple Shiga toxin cases in town and in the surrounding communities. I know, not great. So please ensure proper hand hygiene when preparing food, as well as proper sanitation of surfaces before and after food prep. The schools are seeing an uptick in GI related illnesses, which they have possibly linked to norovirus. Norovirus can be diagnosed if tested. However, if you believe you have a GI related illness, please stay home and avoid handling or preparing food. Our shared services coordinator came up with a wonderful fact sheet about norovirus. This is also posted on our website and kind of gives a little quick guide on what this is all about. But remember, wash your hands, handle food safely, disinfect your surfaces, and wash your dirty clothes. Wash your dirty clothes. Anyways, on a similar vein, up to 5 household pets have been found with bird flu in a raw pet food. It is the Monarch Raw Pet Food brand, so please be aware of that. And though that has been recalled at this point, so Monarch Raw Pet Food. I've always been saying it's the carrots and the celery and all the cucumbers in the past meetings, and now it's pet food. So that's unfortunate. Let's see, this month we have some blood pressure clinics. Screenings. We had one on the 8th and then one today. I have another one coming up on the 16th at Frank Tanner. And then I know people like to plan ahead. We have 3 coming up for February. On the 5th, we're at Pleasant Street Center at 11. On the 13th of February, we're at Cedar Glen at 12:30. And on the 20th of February, we're at Frank Tanner at 10 o'clock in the morning. We are having a hearing screening coming up at the Reading Public Library on the 18th of February. Beltone is bringing in a practitioner to come and do hearing screenings all day, 9 to 5. Go ahead and sign up for a 20-minute time slot. If you would like to have that done, I'm going to have mine done just because it doesn't hurt. It never hurts. All right. Public Health is going to be starting a wellness series for the town. I'll be hosting the first session on the 29th of this month. I'm very excited. This one is going to be focused mostly on the body, diet, exercise, and rest. And the rest of the series is going to focus on different aspects of wellness, mental health, communication, occupation, satisfaction, and things like that. So that's going to be exciting, and that's going to go throughout the entire year. I'm very excited to bring in different speakers and activities for that. And then I'm also going to be holding the same session at the Pleasant Street Senior Center on February 26th from 4:30 to 5:30, just to gain another audience perhaps, and bring more education. As speaking of education, this month is Glaucoma Awareness Month. Glaucoma is a group of, some of us may know, group of eye diseases that has the potential to cause vision loss. Individuals 60 plus are at a higher risk for developing glaucoma. It does develop slowly over time, and it can be diagnosed with a routine eye exam. And then in January, it is also Thyroid Awareness Month. The thyroid is a small gland. It sits right here in the neck. It's butterfly shaped, and it helps regulate the body's metabolism by producing hormones. Thyroid diseases are related to the overproduction or the underproduction of these hormones. Some of the symptoms are listed here. They are very common symptoms of other issues, but combined together, it can be an issue with your thyroid. So if you feel like you might have an issue with that going on, contact your primary care for a physical exam, as well as some blood work for diagnosis. And the last thing I want to say is that next month, I hope to present on the progress of our CHIP planning to the Board of Health. And that is all.
Excellent job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I as you
Jessica.
might expect, I have a couple questions, if I may, Rick.
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you. So two specific for you, Liv. Demand for flu. I was interested to hear that, so is there's still a relatively significant demand for flu shots?
We're getting a couple trickles coming in. There hasn't been the largest demand, but the schools are seeing just a huge uptick. So they're hoping to get people in a lot of like families. I guess the schools are seeing more of a demand than I personally am. But I've Mary, the head of the school nurses for Reading, she kind of coordinated the whole Shaw's clinic and was like, yeah, people have been asking for this.
Okay, that's great to know, because
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we think about flu season as, you know, or flu demand season really kind of tailing off before Thanksgiving. But it's helpful to know, and I'm glad that we're offering something for folks. So, and that's really important messaging. It's not too late to get your flu shot.
It's not, because the season's going to continue.
Right. And I haven't been following it, and I haven't done my homework yet. Do you happen to know, Liv, or maybe you know, Rick, or somebody else, about, do we know what the, how well, do we know if this is a or a B year? I know typically B is, it hits harder when the B viruses are, active. They tend to hit harder on folks. I just haven't been on the calls to hear the update of it. So I was curious, any info about that?
Yeah. I don't know off the top of my head, but I did just Google it, and it looks like this year is an A.
Okay, that's good.
That's what I had heard.
Okay.
Typically with flu, it whichever one comes in first, you know, and everybody gets it, and then the other one comes in, and whoever didn't get the, you know, who's still vulnerable, it comes in. So when I worked in the lab, it would be all A for a month or two, and then we would have a slew of Bs, or vice versa.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's a little up for debate whether the B actually makes you sicker or not.
Okay. I defer to the nurses always. I want to learn. You guys know. So.
Slight correction, I'm a med tech, or I'm
But-
retired now, but I worked in the lab.
But adjacent, nurse adjacent, you have the data with them. I would say you share the data, right? So, okay.
Everybody calls us nurses, so we prefer to be called med techs.
Because that's what you are, right? So adjacent, got it.
And I'm sure a nurse doesn't want to be called a med tech, so.
Right. Respect that, yes. And then just in terms of those reported numbers, those, the source for those numbers, my understanding is typically those numbers are like our indicators, and there's probably more floating around in the community because not all cases are reported. Is that correct? Can you explain how that works?
So these numbers that I'm getting, the monthly disease numbers the graphs, those are the reports of our epidemiology network, MAVEN. So those are individuals that have actually been tested in primary cares or hospitals. And then that information is then transferred to MAVEN. So if someone's taking an at-home rapid, I don't get that information. So like Carrie's saying, that these numbers are just what is going into facilities, not what's actually going on at home. But I did think it was interesting, the 30% of people are in their 40s. And
Agreed,
that's
yeah.
just the people that are going to the hospitals and going to the doctor's offices. So they're
Right.
clearly very sick if they're taking time to get diagnosed. Yeah.
The sickest of the sick are the ones that end up getting
Rapid
reported
flu
at this
tests are
point.
now available online too. You can get them,
Mhm.
that flu and COVID, I think, on the same cassette, so.
Yep.
And as I learned during COVID, there was no mechanism in Massachusetts to report positive home tests.
Right.
So, you know, it's just the tip of the iceberg, the state statistics. And actually the wastewater is the better indicator of what's going on.
Right. Good leading indicator. And yeah, the, as you say, that what's active is just kind of a, all right, if it's this many, then I don't know what a multiplier would be, but yeah,
Right.
it does not capture everyone. So,
No.
okay. Thanks for clearing me up on that. And then I just have two questions. You took one question away from me, Liv. I have two requests from a day. I'm thrilled that we're gonna have a CHIP update next month. I was curious if I would love to get a emergency preparedness activity update at some point, if you can just put that on the
Mhm.
on the list. And I'd also I don't know if shared services is scheduled to come back and talk about status. I don't know if our shared services group is participating in the self-assessment, if there's been any change in our percentage of meeting those baseline standards. Or if they want to talk to us about foundational public health services. But
Yes,
those,
so
just curious.
our shared services coordinator will be at the next Board of Health meeting.
Great.
You know, she's ready to go.
Yep. She's excellent.
Yes, she is. In terms of additional updates, there are no major additional updates, other than we've been, you know, seeing an increase in wildlife feeding complaints, and we intend to address those complaints by actually creating a wildlife feeding bylaw or regulation. So we're going to be working on that, and probably give you a draft, submit a draft at the next Board of Health meeting. We also plan to review our fee schedule, compare it with surrounding municipalities, and hopefully we can come up with a more reasonable fee schedule. For example, like the variance request we just had regarding the keeping of animals, that permit fee is $10.
Yeah.
You know, that's unacceptable.
Right.
Even one inspection does not, I mean, you can't even pay for an inspection with $10.
Yeah, that's really low.
And we're required, we are required that the fees we charge, well, we're required to assess whether they cover the cost of delivering the service.
Absolutely.
And I know that there is a tool out there that allows health departments to do a assessment of what the actual cost is of delivering services. I've just gone through that actually with my own 4 towns that I work with and my other path. I'd be interested to know whether the department might want to undertake it. It's not a small amount of work, but it may be worth considering.
Yes, I believe it's worth considering. I mean, we've been talking about it for a couple of years now. I think we have the energy to do it now. So, and this will be the right time to do it.
Right.
So in terms of the next meeting, we plan on having Annette give an update about the shared services collaborative, and then we plan on having Modern Pest Control share their strategy for the rodent mitigation plan. That's pretty much it.
And the chip.
And the chip.
And the chip.
The chipping away at the chip.
Anyway, I love that. Gotta get little ice chippers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think being on top of the chip is really important over the next couple of years. We spent $60,000 and all of our time, a lot of effort putting it together. And, you know, what I'd like to be able to see is, you know, on some basis quarterly or whatever, you know, an update of what kinds of programs we've implemented to address it so that we can get a sense that we're adhering to it, to our goals over the next couple of years in particular.
Agree, Rick, and I'll just add, I'd love to know if there are barriers to adhering to those goals and how we might be able to assist in addressing them. So,
Yes, excellent.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, that was chock-filled meeting, but we got through it. Any other final comments or anything anybody else would like to say? Otherwise, make a motion to adjourn the meeting. We have a second?
Second,
Joan, second. Okay, roll call. Sal,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Joan,
yes.
and Rick, yes. So see you all next month. Happy New Year.
New
Right.
Year.
Thank
you.
you.
Good day, everyone.
Everybody.
Bye.
Everybody be well.
Yeah.
Bye.
Happy New Year.